Hello, this is Mr. Hall. Today I'm going to show you how to start your overlapping hand drawing. So, if you are right handed and you draw and write with your right hand, you're going to trace your left hand twice. If you are left handed and you draw and write with your left hand, you're going to trace your right hand twice. I myself am right handed, so I'm going to use my left hand and trace it twice. It does not matter where it is on the paper as long as your hand is on the paper. So I'm going to put my hand here and I'm going to slowly trace around my fingers. I'm drawing very lightly, which means I'm not putting a lot of pressure on my pencil because I'm going to be erasing some parts in a little while. So I continue to draw around my fingers and then my thumb very lightly. And then I'm done with my first hand. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, you can see that. So now I'm going to find another place to position my hand and then trace over it again. So I'm going to put my hand right here and I'm going to trace over it again. So remember, I'm drawing very lightly and I'm going very slowly. Now, obviously, I've done this a few times, so I can go a little quicker than everybody else. But after I'm done, I should have two overlapping hands. Now I'm just going to connect this a little bit right here to the edge of the paper. So now I have two overlapping hands, and I have to decide which one is going to be the top one and which one is going to be the bottom one. So I am going to make this hand the top and this the bottom, which means I have to erase any parts of this hand that are inside this hand. So I'm going to be erasing here, here. Now, this is why I told you to draw lightly. It's always better to erase in the direction that you colored your line. So my line is going up and down like that. I'm erasing like that. So once again, I'm erasing every line that is inside the hand that I chose to be on top. Now I'm just going to do a little fixing since I erased parts of this hand. Make sure that everything's connected properly. I want to make sure that I've erased every possible part of that hand that is underneath. Now remember, it's important to use a sharp pencil and a good eraser. So now you see that I have my overlapping hands. Now, once I do that, I can go over this a little darker. I want to go slowly so that I stay inside the lines. Making sure that once again I stop where the hands have overlapped so that I'm not drawing them through again. I don't want something I have to erase again. Oh, now here's a spot I didn't erase. So I need to go in and I need to erase that. Retracing it helped me find that. So I go back in and I keep tracing. Just to make it a little darker. Then I'm going to erase any imperfections that I have. And there, I have my overlapping hands. Now I can start designing the inside of both hands and the outside background. So I've got this section that's the background. I've got these four little sections that are background. And then I've got all of this here that is part of my background. I have to put designs on everything here. So I can start designing any way that I like, but I want to make sure that my designs are detailed and interesting. I don't just want to draw squiggly lines going down and then color one hand all the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw kind of a loopy little line right in here. And it's going to go all the way to the end of the finger. So as soon as I'm done drawing my loopy little line, and it's going to end right at the end of the finger, I can make a choice. Do I want to color that now, or do I want to design everything first? So just to show you how to color evenly again, I'm going to go ahead and color that now. So I want to use a sharp pencil, just like I told you, a sharp colored pencil. This one could use some sharpening. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to sharpen it. And now I'm going to do every other one this color. Now, because this is such a small place, I'm going to color very, very carefully so that I don't go outside of the lines. I'm even going to outline it a little bit. So now I'm going to move on to the next section and I'm going to outline that. And then I'm going to start with little strokes. That means I'm not coloring wide strokes. I'm just coloring little strokes. Now I'm over here at the end, so that I'm going to color like this. I'm going to follow the outline and I'm going to color like this. It makes it a little easier on me. But that's still uneven, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to color it diagonally, just to make sure that it's nice and even. Color some vertically again. I want to make sure that it's all the same shade of this color, which is, I can't read this color, magenta. So it's going to be all the same light shade of magenta. Now I'm going to move on to the next section. I'm going to outline it just to make it a little easier on myself. Sometimes I find that if I outline something, kind of has a little bit of muscle memory to know where I'm going to stop and where I'm going to start. So now I'm going to do some vertical line, and I'm not making my lines very long. Now coloring to the side helps because once the color pencil gets dull on one side, I can always flip it over and then it gets sharp again. So I'm following the outline again on the finger. Here around the edges, I'm going to go very, very carefully. I can even use the circle method where I color in little tiny circles, but I'm keeping the same amount of pressure. So now I'm going to go diagonally again, Just going very slowly to make sure that everything's nice and even. Go vertically again. And so on and so forth. So I could finish coloring that up. I can pick another color that works well with that. So maybe I'll choose a dark greenish color. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to use green blue. I'm going to use green blue. So I make sure it's sharpened. And then I would start with this. Now, I would only start with this once I went all the way down the finger and colored it. But just for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and color this one section in. But you can see how the colors look good together. They're complementing each other. One's darker, one's lighter. And I'm not talking about the amount of pressure I'm putting on them, but I'm talking about the actual color itself. So now I'm going to color a little bit diagonally. I want to get these white spaces out of there, these super light spaces. Do the circle method a little bit. That way it helps me stay inside the lines. Now I can color like horizontally, really slowly. And if I see places that I missed with the magenta, I can go back over them again and make sure that they're light. And so on and so forth. But I want to make sure that I am designing the entire thing. So for the background, I might use a ruler. Now I've got a big space for this background. I don't have to do it all one design. I could stop here at the top of this finger, right here, even go through it a little bit. And I'm going to stop my lines right at the top of the pinky. And they're going to go right there. And this is where they're going to stop. So they're going to stop right here. And I forgot this little part right here. I line it back up again just so I can put it there. Now I can start doing some other designs here. Like instead of doing a checkerboard, I'm going to do kind of a diagonal kind of design. Notice how I'm using my pencil, as a starting point for each of these lines. So then I'm just moving my ruler. And I don't think any of this goes any further, so I'm going to leave it like that. So there's my first design. And I can go ahead and start coloring it. I can do designs over the fingers, like big circles. They don't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. But I just want to make sure that you're putting effort into it. Kind of like scales of a fish. But each area is going to have its own design. So I could do something in the hand like this. Kind of similar to what I did with that finger. And I'm going to stop right there at the thumb. Or I can just continue and bring it all the way around to the thumb. But you see how I'm designing everything. The entire background will be designed, both hands will be designed, and then I'll start coloring. So this is how your overlapping hand design and drawing should begin. First by drawing your hands. After you've done that, deciding which one is going to be on top, which one is going to be on the bottom, and then erasing the lines that overlap from top to the bottom, and then starting your designs and coloring, either coloring while you're making your designs or designing the whole thing and then coloring later. You can actually even go back in after you make the designs and use a pen to, to outline everything if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to, but some people like to overlap with a pen. Then after that, you could take the eraser and erase any pencil marks that are underneath it. Okay, so I hope that helps everybody, and hopefully you'll get it turned in soon because we have grades coming up. Thank you for watching the video.